Boys, currently democracy is taking more hits than it should.
I wanted to give you my complete thoughts today on everything that's taken place with Helldivers, because I see the developers and Arrowhead getting a ton of crap online. I don't know, man. It just doesn't sit right with me. Therefore, but I also understand the frustration. So just one of the...
It didn't sit right with me yesterday also, but since that point, things have evolved. And now it's even more complicated and bad than good in some situations.
I'll lay everything out, and we're actually going to start by reading this article right here. The reason why we're really covering this article is that if you come over here and you type in Helldivers 2, all right, this is what breaks my heart. As great of a game as Helldivers was to us throughout the month of February and March, I know at the time its reviews were way higher than this. It is now dipped into mostly negative, and it's taken the all review score down to mix now, which is not where the game should be sitting, by the way. This is...
Well, yes, the game by itself is still great, but that's not the issue here. And I don't think we honestly ever should separate the developers from the game, because the developers nowadays are the game. What they think is right, what they think is wrong is going to be represented in the game. So if I honestly think if the developers of a game start doing crappy things, the game is also accountable for the actions of these developers.
It's a great...
If it's, though, something that surrounds the game and is associated with the game. The developer's private life is slightly different.
Fundamentally, it is a great game. This is all because of the blow up over the past day. And it's kind of incredible that the Helldivers 2 community can come together like this and sync the reviews this damn hard. I think
it is honestly incredible, true, I agree. But it is to be expected, because the Helldivers community is, well, they stick together like glue. The memes, the everything. Of course, the community is as solid as it can be, and they all pretty much think the same thing most of the time when you know, stuff surrounds their game. And, well, a reaction like this is not really unexpected at all. I would argue that what's happening now currently with Steam reviews and everything is 100% to be the expected outcome.
Before we get into the reviews,
and deserved outcome, honestly,
we need context on this, okay? And that's why we're reading Paul's article. Arrowhead tells Helldivers 2 players to change reviews to negative over PSN linking. The Helldivers 2 community is in a full-on meltdown over Sony's new demand that all PC players must link their Steam accounts to a PlayStation Network account in order to be able to keep playing starting in a month. Now, it's becoming more and more clear just how much Helldivers 2 developer Arrowhead is upset about this decision, and they're not really even hiding it. Helldivers 2 community man...
Now, this is a little bit misleading, because this is a really big problem, because some developers have come out and said, shut the fuck up, you bunch of losers. Just do it, loser, okay? Do what I say. And some developers have come out and said, this is really bad. Do what you will, boys. We support you. So this makes it all the more just wild, honestly. Because some of the developers are fine. They're good. They're still good. Some of the developers, though, have shown that they don't care that much about anything except, you know, well, whatever Sony tells them to care about.
Manager Spitz drew fire yesterday for seemingly snapping at a player over the issue, saying they should just change the review to negative and move on. But now, while Spitz is walking back his attitude, he's maintaining he was being serious. You really should change your review to negative on Steam if you want to send a message to Sony. Here's Spitz. I want people to make their displeasure known in a place where it might actually make a difference. Steam reviews and refund requests will do that. Angry posting in the Discord won't. I'm not happy about this decision either. Then later, my suggestion to people to change the reviews to negative was completely genuine. People are emotional, and rightfully so. Many of them won't be able to play the game anymore. It sucks.
Yeah, also the biggest thing is now with the PSN shit, my country doesn't even have that. I actually couldn't play the game if I wanted to at this point. I can't. Not available in my country. Good luck.
This echoes similar, though less explicit sentiments from CEO John Pilistid, who has been posting about the flood of negative Steam reviews, which have now changed the game's score to mixed, saying he is bummed about it, but he understands why people are doing it. Yeah, I saw, this is where I first saw it. So it was originally on mostly positive. And this is from Bowstead here. Alex writing the review score.
Yeah, but this situation is also pretty deceptive because that Splits guy, he's one of the ones that well, pretty much told people to just get the fuck out, essentially. And that he did. And now everything's changing, so it's hard to say what's happening currently here, really. Who is even being genuine? Because he was pretty genuine about the fact that he doesn't care about the community if you don't want to make a PSN account, because it only takes 3 seconds. And it's not about the fact, by the way, that making the account only takes like a minute. It's the fact that you need to do it. Soon you will have to log into Steam, and then you will need to log into 20 other different sub things to, just play the game that you want to play. What's the point of Steam even existing if you have like 50 different sub things that you need to log in anyway to play? It's dumb. It's pointless. And that's not even the real bad thing here. One of the main reasons why they want PSN to actually be active here is so they can effectively just police the community. That's what this is really about. Sony just wants to ban people for saying things that they don't like. That is effectively what's happening here. That is the real endgame here. Because, they want to get rid of toxicity and all this stuff. Essentially, if you say something that they don't like, they will ban you. That is what's really happening here. And they're covering this up by saying, oh, we just want to get rid of the griefers. Yeah, not a lot of people actively really grief people. I mean, I'm pretty sure it happens, obviously, because where you can grief, you're gonna get grief time to time, but this is not an active real thing.
Well, I guess it's warranted. Sorry, everyone, for how this all transpired. I hope we will make it up and regain the trust by providing a continued great game experience. I just want to make great games. He goes on to say they will use the only lever they have, which is making a great game. As he makes it clear again, this entire thing is Sony's decision. This morning, Sony is drawing fire for changing wording in its PSN linking page from saying that it was optional to saying that some PlayStation games may require you to sign in and link to an account for PlayStation Network. It was
they retconned that.
It's quite literally changed within the last 24 hours. Wow.
Yeah.
Sony, this is from the Helldivers 2 media Twitter account. Sony got caught changing their own words. Accounts were optional like the first picture. Sony comes in and says it's required today and changes the wording on the PSN PC games. Oh, that's crazy. Straight up goes from PSN is optional when playing PlayStation games on PC to some PlayStation.
Yeah, I saw this yesterday.
Games may require you to sign in. Players and observers are still split about the issue, with some saying this is no big deal and players have to make accounts for places like Ubisoft or EA or Microsoft to play games.
Fuck those people. Just get out. If you're one of those people, it's not a big deal. You're the one that's gonna be like, oh, a 5-minute city, that sounds amazing. Oh, look at that, cricket. You're a fucking loser. I want you out of the gene pool, I'm not gonna lie. If you just... This is how they get you. First you succumb to this little thing. Oh, it's not a big deal. Then they improve it like this, then that. And at the very end, after 500 not big deals, now you wake up in a mandated time by the government and now you're eating dirt because they tell you to. Stop being a goddamn Muppet, you stupid flesh puppet.
All the time. The larger issue is that players in dozens of countries without PlayStation Network may no longer be able to play the game going forward, despite already paying for it, because this requirement was delayed from the launch and they were allowed to purchase it regardless. Even Arrowhead doesn't seem to know what exactly is going to happen.
Also, this is also pretty current, but Valve has gotten wind of this, and now pretty much everyone can get a refund for Helldivers if you feel like it.
Happened to these players as Sony hasn't told them, but as Spitz says,
previously there was a problem that Valve would not refund people that had like a lot of hours in the game, but now as much as I understand, Valve is like pretty much here you go, a refund, because I'm pretty sure Valve doesn't care, because high chances are that Valve has refund. What's it called? Notice policy. But effectively, that if you want to sell something on Steam, it doesn't matter how big you are, because Steam is the biggest when it comes to selling games, right? So they can push shit like PlayStation, Sony, all of these garbage dumpster fire companies around as much as they want to a certain degree. So these companies are probably not immune to Valve having a mandatory arbitrary clause about refunds. AKA, hey, if you break something, if you completely F off and we need to refund, this is coming out of only your pocket. We are not refunding anything. You are refunding 100% of it. This is most likely how it's working out currently, which is hilariously amazing. Thank you, Gabe, for being a based god.
Assuming they won't be able to play. The requirement itself is debatable. The way Sony has rolled this out and communicated this is clearly a mess and has resulted in close to open warfare.
It's not a mess. It's intentionally malicious.
Game developer, which has produced one of their biggest hits in years. We'll see if Sony relents or if this really is going to happen. But for many, the damage is done. Dude, you do not see this often. You do not see, essentially, a development studio roll over. And like the last time I saw this type of snapback was when it was the earnings quarter or the quarterly earnings call for Activision years ago. It was 2018. And we were all hella hyped because Forsaken had just rolled out. It's fantastic. Bungie was happy about it too. And there was a huge lineup of content. So you would think that Activision would come in and say, this has been great. We've been enjoying Forsaken, and essentially, you know, going forward, we're looking forward to the content that Bungie's going to be able to produce. We got the exact opposite. What they actually did was they came out and said, the reason why we've missed on certain numbers is, well, Forsaken is underperforming. And maybe Forsaken did underperform, or maybe Activision had astronomical numbers. Who knows who the bad guy is? All I'm saying is, like, all Bungie wanted right then was a spark to get out of that relationship, and they got it. That was the spark that the entire studio needed. And within the day, Luke Smith had made a comment on Twitter about the entire Activision comments. And within, 6 months from there, they had announced their split from Activision. The fact that Arrowhead is coming out and saying,
bro, the greatest thing that Bungie has ever done was convince that it was Activision's fault that Destiny 2 is shit. That was the greatest thing Bungie has ever done. Convince people that it's not Bungie's fault. Destiny is a pile of flaming shit most of the time.
I mean, Spitz right here literally saying, put those reviews, make them negative, hit them where it hurts, get refunds. When was the last time you seen anyone to do that? I've never seen a developer go
again. I'm not buying this. This is the worst part of this situation. I don't know what's currently true and what's bot propaganda at this point for Helldivers, honestly. Or maybe it's finally the time when brain bugs are starting to come out and take control slowly from within. Who knows? Starship Troopers reference, which Helldivers technically is from start to finish, which is great, by the way. Obviously, Starship Troopers, beautiful. But in any case, I don't know what to trust here, because again, Spitz's original things that were said by this person, they were not community friendly. They were undoubtedly, unmistakably a giant FU to the community. Do this, you bunch of losers. And now the narrative has shifted. I don't know what to believe now currently.
Against their publisher in such a way. The times have changed. The times have changed, maybe. Well, my concern is that Spitz is not going to have a job. I'm just being frank with you, dude. Sony, if they own, how much of the IP, Helldivers IP do they own? You see what I mean? They see these type of comments, these type of tweets. Obviously,
he's 100% right, by the way. That's why well, probably not, because that Spitz person probably understands what's going on. So maybe they can't actually call the shots there.
I mean, I
also, the CEO of Helldivers 2 also has said that. And at that point, it's like, okay, what is Sony gonna do? Are they really gonna fire everyone at Helldivers 2? Obviously not. You can't do that. Now, you can replace them over time, because that vitriol never fades, boys. It never does. If you do something like this, whoever is above you is slowly but surely gonna start changing people one by one by one. Trust me, it literally always happens. In a year from now, if people are still talking about Helldivers 2, the CEO will be changed, and, well, everyone's gonna be changed.
Applaud the developers for speaking up in such a way. I just wonder, like, how much control Sony has in this situation. I'm under the assumption the reason why Sony is making this mandatory all of a sudden.
Actually, let's check. How much does Sony own of Helldivers 2? Google's smart enough. We are not owned by Sony. We are strong in the... Oh, so they're just the publisher. Sony hasn't bought the Helldivers 2, and that's a good thing. Okay, Sony's trying... So Sony's just the publisher? As just the publisher, they have... Oh, isn't this interesting? Let me Google one more thing. Who owns Helldivers 2? IP. By the way, when you write in Google who owns what company, Google is thankfully still smart enough to understand that you're asking about stocks and all of that good stuff. So, who owns the IP for Helldivers? Sony has owned the IP for Helldivers since the first game was... What the hell? So they... So, wait. How does this even work? And this is from the 5th of April 2024, so it's literally today. That's strange. I am confused. Because previously it said that they don't own. Well, so it's not... Sony is not just their publisher, it seems like. They are their boss and they own the IP. Or how does it work? The company that is behind Helldivers 2 currently, are they just buying the IP license? I'm so confused here currently. But, you know, if Sony is just the publisher, as long as they do not break the contract, which is super fucking extensive probably, and we're not gonna even try to get into that garbage, they could be fine. But if Sony owns the IP, then that's probably not fine, and unless the company behind Helldivers 2 is licensing the IP. Or licensed the IP, I should probably say. Interesting. Again, this situation just gets wilder and wilder.
Is maybe they want to show something in their next earnings call that, hey, look how many... Because, look, when it comes to, like, Netflix and all these subscription services, one of the metrics they use that investors like is growth, right? Growth of like subscriptions or growth of new accounts. And I'm assuming Sony is purely doing this.
He's 100% right, because growth means more money. More money means line go up. And again, this is why no one wants growth like this, because that's bad.
To just show growth for PlayStation Network. To say, hey,
By the way, it's not even growth. It's just the fact that you are not at market cap. That's it. That's it. That's pretty much honestly what they care about. The fact that there is still more room to grow. Even if you're not growing, just the fact that you have not reached market saturation. That is all that matters.
Through 30-40% or however much, and that will pull the price up a bit more. My gut's telling me they want to...
And a great example of market saturation is Fortnite, I actually would believe. Which is fun, because we have never talked about this, because Fortnite is pretty much a shitty subject to talk about almost always. But market saturation and examples how that works in real life, Fortnite is an amazing example, because Fortnite, without a doubt, in most analysts' eyes, has reached market saturation because there's only so much 12-year-old kids out there and desperate 25-year-old streamers who are still trying to cling to fame out there. So when you have reached market saturation and there's no more growth, well, now you need to create more money otherwise, because at the end of the day, growth is just a synonym for money in a lot of these situations. But considering peaking at growth is really, really hard in most situations, it never actually translates to its pure true form, which is money generated. And when you have peaked at growth, when you have maxed out on that part, now you need to find new ways to get money. And this is also, by the way, the same thing for Call of Duty. There is a reason why all of these big games are starting to make the Nicki Minaj skins, the sweet Cheech and Chong stuff. By the way, I have watched those movies. They're great. At least the first couple of. The last ones where the split happens is a little bit meh. But great movies. I actually would suggest watch them. They're all bold but gold classics. You know, that's how you get all of these. Oh, Avengers. Oh, Thanos. All of those things. Because that is the way that you bump up the money. And as soon as the money cannot be bumped up anymore, that's when the game is going to start to fail and wither a little bit. Because its natural lifespan has absolutely been completely devastated. And, well, it's no longer a rising star. It's a dying dog. An actual thing that you learn, by the way, in university. That's, by the way, shooting rising stars and dying dogs and, you know, whatnot.
Make this, they want to pad the stats, pad the numbers, make it look good in the next earnings call, show tremendous growth, especially considering this is on the back of their announcement of them potentially.
Yep, my country is on the list right here, boys. Cannot play even if I wanted to at this point. Sad.
Purchasing Paramount. They're also probably trying to see, is this a way to hook people in that are on PC? I don't know if it will. Again, it's not like you have to buy anything for a PlayStation. You don't have to own a PlayStation to have a PSN account. Hell, our Bungie account or our Steam account is hooked to our PlayStation account because my Destiny 2 account was originally on PlayStation. Then we had cross save and I had to link it all up together. But the account that I'm playing on was originally my PlayStation account. It wasn't necessarily difficult, but sense. I understand that why so many people.
Yeah, it's not difficult. It's mostly principle at this point. For me, for example, it's purely principle.
We're upset about this because you can see right here, this is the list of countries where people cannot make PlayStation Network accounts. Afghanistan, Albania, Algeria, Andorra, Angola, so on and so forth. I will say one of the comments that was made yesterday in
holy shit, even the Solomon Islands are not spared. Woo!
Stream, someone said that they're from Angola and they have PlayStation Network, but you know,
Sierra Leone, baby, that's not a name you hear often.
There's a number of countries, and
yes, this is pronounced Sierra Leone.
Actually, what they're boiling down to is that these people are not going to be able to play Helldivers past this point. So I think some of the issues is that this should have been communicated up front, right? Before people have committed many hours to this game. And then to do this rug pull months later.
Yeah, it's effectively a rug pull. Again, the situation is bad and it is complex. Again, I don't even know what to believe anymore in a lot of cases with what's currently happening. It just seems like a blur currently. But currently, at least, it seems like, you know, Helldivers 2 devs are fighting against Sony and their BS things. Well, anyway, that was Odds to Cross. Good times, good video. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.